Hello everyone, welcome to Code Multiverse, one stop channel to learn about all the aspects of coding such as design, development, and deployment. My name is Kailash Valdotti. Welcome to No Tutorials. And the list of contents we have is on the screen at the moment. So, we'll begin with how to install Node. For that, we will use NVM, and then so there are different ways of how you can install it. The one would be directly going to nodejs.org, and then you could just click on the download option, 14th version, which is LTS, or 16th version, which is current version. Okay, and on you so I think I've already explained the meaning of LTS, which is stands for long term support, and you can just click on this schedule in order to see when it will be active, and then when will be the initial release, and then when LTS will end and then go into maintenance phase, and when will be the end of life for that particular version. So I'm not going to go ahead and then click on download here. Rather, I'm using something called as NVM, which is short form for Node Version Manager. So since I'm on Windows, I'm just going to click on this download now, and then so this is a maintenance release. So I'm just going to go ahead and then click on NVM. This is, see, you can see that there is versioning here also. This is a latest release. This is pre-release, and then you have a lot of hot fixes in between. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and then do NVM setup. This one. Mm, Go ahead and then download the zip file, and then I got it. So I'm just installing that. So just accept the terms and conditions and go ahead, finish it. So the moment you do that and then come back uh, to your terminal, I can go ahead and then type nvm, and you will see that nvm is working all good. Okay, so now I can just say nvm and then say hyphen hyphen version or something. Okay, that's not how you do it. So you just say nvm version, and I think you will get the version. Okay. So the next thing is, how do I install Node using this? So what I'll do is, for that, I just say nvm and then install, and then I'll just go ahead and then click on the releases here. Sorry, previous releases. So to navigate to previous releases, you just click on downloads first, and then from there you just go down and then click on previous releases option here. Okay, so you can see different releases versioning. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I would like to install multiple versions. So for example, I'll just go with 14.17.3. Okay, so that's one version that I want to install, and then I would also want to install for a 12th version, node 12. So for that, I'll just take the latest one, which is 12.22.3. So I'm just going to say nvm install 12.2.22.3, and then I'm gonna go ahead and I'll just go ahead and then install 10th version, which has 10.24.1. Okay, nvm install 10.24.1. Okay,
Okay.
let it install. Just give me a second. Okay, so now we have installed three versions. So for to list them, I'll just say I'll use command called as nvm list, and you can see that I have currently installed all those three versions. And currently you see that I'm not using any of them. That's the reason you don't see star prefixing to that. So to use a specific version, you need to use a command called as nvm use. So the moment you say nvm use, you can switch to the version that you want to use currently. So I'll say nvm use 12.22.3. So if I list it, run the list command again. Now this time you will see which is the version that I'm using at the moment. Okay.
Okay. Yes.
So now, yeah, in order to uninstall, you can. So I'll just go ahead and then do a quick uninstall option as well. So I'll just go ahead and then install Node 11. Uh, okay, I'll say nvm install 11.15.0. Okay, so if I just go ahead and then run nvm list command, you will see that it will list me 11th version also. You say, for example, for some reason I do not use it anymore and I want to uninstall it, and then I just run nvm uninstall, and then same version number, and then that's all.
If
Okay.
suppose it would have been in the currently using mode,
Mhm.
can we uninstall the same way, or we have to first change the current using
Well,
version?
yeah. So if you uninstall, it will go back to this old mode where you will see that it is not using any of the node version.
Okay,
Okay.
okay,
So this will go away, and then it will go back to the original mode, and then
okay,
you can you can start using a different version which is available at that moment. Okay.
okay,
So now if I type node, you will see I'm able to go to node 12.12.c 12.22.3.
okay.
Okay. So that was the first thing that we talked about, okay, which was about installing node. Okay, and then we also spoke about LTS and then other versioning. So we were able to navigate between different versions, and then with this we also know about what is NVM. Okay, no, NVM is just a version manager which is used in order to install different version of node in the same machine and then switch between them whenever you require. Okay.
Okay.
So go ahead and then read about how you can do it per project basis. Okay, like currently I'm doing it global level, right? See if you can actually navigate it per project basis as well. Okay.
Okay.
So the next thing that we are talking about is difference between npm and yarn. So for that, I'll just go ahead and then though we have discussed it, so let me just go ahead and then bring out the differences in web. So you will see what is NVM. Okay, differences between NPM Yarn. So as we talked about it, NPM has been there since long time, and then Yarn was recently created. And then you can see the definition of that. Yet another resource negotiator. Okay, so NPM, when you want to install packages using NPM from package.json. So what happens is it installs module by module, whether you're installing multiple libraries, third-party libraries, or whenever you are using installing multiple third-party libraries, it installs libraries one by one. But what
Okay.
Yan will do is they'll install all at one go. So that's why it becomes a lot more faster. Okay. So let's
Okay.
just go ahead and then see. Both are package managers. Okay. So installation procedure is exactly same, or you can install yarn using npm also. So npm install yarn global is the command you need to run, and then the log file that it creates is npm. I think you have already known that it creates package log.json, whereas yarn will create yarn.log file. Okay, if you install a
Okay.
packages using yarn, it will create yarn.log file, whereas if you install packages using npm, it will create package log.json file. Okay. And
Okay.
then installation, I think you have already seen this. Okay, yeah. In order to install something using npm, you run command called as npm install and then third party library name. Correct.
Okay.
For example, if I want to install firebase, I say npm install firebase. Correct.
Mm.
That's how you do it for using npm. But if I want to use it, if I want to run things using yarn, so I'll say yarn add firebase.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the only difference in the command. And then
Okay.
same goes for uninstalling, whereas when npm says, yeah, npm uninstall library name.
Okay.
Okay, whereas for yarn, since we know we were doing yeah add, this will be
Remove.
remove.
Remove. Okay.
Okay, so if you just go down, I think you'll see this npm install. So and then for this is add. Okay,
Okay.
so and then after that, see, you can see that npm install and npm add. So that's the thing. And then they have talked about licensing, we'll leave that. Dependencies and install package, you can see it has remove and then add, right? We just talked about it. And then we also know how to do multiple libraries installation, like follow each package by one, like just give space in between npm install firebase and nodemon, whatever it is. So just give space in between.
Okay.
Okay, same goes for yarn as well.
Okay.
And then if you want to upgrade something, update is the keyword that you use in npm, whereas upgrade is the keyword that you use in yarn. Okay,
Okay.
so that's about it. And then similarly, when you want to create a package.json file, use npm init command to create a package.json file in your project root folder, or use yarn init for command in order to create package.json file using yarn. Okay,
Okay.
otherwise rest of the things are just same. Okay,
Okay.
and we will someday we'll also learn about what is publish and other things. Okay,
Okay.
so I think that's the major difference in terms of commands. But in terms of, I think, speed, I've already told you that yarn will be much more faster when compared to npm.
Okay.
So that's about first thing. And then I think the next thing that we talked about was how node.js works, and then we already talked about it. saying that, if you consider a server, right? If you consider server, so you might have, the n number of people who are requesting to that. So there is a person one, person two, person three, and so on. So all of them are making a request.
Yes.
Okay. So each time you make a request, your server will, respond with by assuming that there is a small time gap which is required in order to do the computations. For example, if this guy sends 2 plus 3, server needs some time to compute that, and then it will give a response back. Correct?
Okay.
Mm, I think I can do this. Okay.
Hmm.
So it will respond back, and then similarly it will go with the next one also. But generally what happens is your server has a limitation on thread. So say for
Hmm.
example, if there are 20 threads per server, then what happens is there at a time it can only serve 20 people. Okay, 20 people request. Okay, I will say request because it's request basis, not user basis. Okay, so
Yes.
20 people are making 20 requests, and then those 20 requests are being served by this person. So if by this server, if 21st requests come in, then it will have to wait for at least one request to get completed, or all of them to get completed. It totally depends. Okay, if all of them had made requests at the same time, then it might take similar time to process here, and then all of them might get response at the same time, and then 20 threads are free, and the next one can come in, 21st can come in. Right?
Yes.
So you can see that, when you want to talk about scalability here, when you know talk about a lot of users user requests coming in, so you cannot
Hmm.
expect 20 people, 300 people, or how many people. So there is no certain limit as such, right? How many people are using. So there you see that there is a blocking approach here. What is a blocking approach? You can only process based on number of threads you have.
Okay.
So that's why you have, load balance and other stuff in between, where, yeah, it immediately navigates between different uh, slave servers. That is a traditional approach of saying master server and then slave server. Okay,
Right.
but nowadays we don't use master and slave keywords anymore. It could be called as main. Okay, and then you can call the slave one as child, or whatever you want to call it as, but we do not
Okay.
use master and slave terms anymore, nor in git branch, nor anywhere. Okay, in the technical terminologies. Okay,
Okay.
so the reason is, I think um, uh, I think you can just go up and go and read about that. So they
Okay.
no yeah so uh, they do not want to promote master and slave terminologies anymore, because of,
Concept.
yeah,
Yeah.
they do not want to uh,
Discriminate.
discrimination. Yeah, discrimination, other things come up. That's the reason. Okay,
Okay.
so that's about how Node.js would work. Okay, sorry. So that is the traditional approach, and then how Node.js would work, because we already said that, Node.js is a single-threaded one. So Node.js, what it does is it just has non-blocking asynchronous approach. Okay, using callbacks. So what does that mean is that it has a single thread, but what it does is the moment it gets a request, it gives a promise saying that I'll respond back to you as soon as the response is ready, and then it has a callback function which will be used in order to respond back to this particular user whenever the response is ready. Okay, so the computation is happening, and then it can respond back to the same user. So there is a reference table which is there, which will maintain the original request, and then the callback when where it has to go. So
Okay.
it keeps collecting the user request one by one after the other, and then it keeps adding them to stack, and then the things get solved. This, server is computing them parallelly, so it is single threaded. They are being computed, at per request basis, and then the moment that is resolved, you're getting a response back. Okay, so
Okay.
it is a single threaded, but in a way it is doing non-blocking operations. So that is what I think is required.
Okay.
So and then so the next thing is about global objects. I think we already talked about this, but again I'll just go ahead and then show you Node.js, and you just go to Node.js and then click on docs, and then click on any API references, and then you can see that there are a lot of things on the left hand side menu. Okay, so there are most of the things which you see here are global objects. So one of them, I think I told you, is console. I'm just going to close this. Okay, so console, and then you have process, you have file system, you have path. Okay, and you have many more. And then yesterday we did talk about window and then navigator objects as well, because they are browser global objects, they're not Node.js global objects,
Yes.
whereas console, process, fs, path, and etc are Node.js environment specific. Okay,
Okay.
so let's just go ahead and then start creating a small program as here. uh, so these are old ones, so I'll just go ahead and then create. I'll just close this. I'll just create a new folder somewhere here. I'll just go back, cd dot dot cd, and then say node.js. Oh, sorry, make directory node.js. Okay, and then now I'll go there. Now, so what is the next thing that I have? Okay, let me just go ahead and then create a file under that. So for to do that, what I'm doing, I'm just creating code dot so that I can directly navigate there. Okay,
Okay.
so here I'm just gonna go ahead and then create a index.js. Yeah, and then so let me just go ahead and then do some console.log statement, and we can see hello. If I, the moment if I run this index.js, I can see hello. So that's about your first thing. So let me just copy this thing and then run it right here. So that's your first one. And then second one, I think we already talked about process as well, but anyways, I'm just going to go ahead and then do it for recording sake again. So the moment you say process and then run it, you can see that you are seeing list of things that are there. Okay, there are lot of things that is coming as part of your process object. Okay,
Okay.
but you say for example you need only process arguments. I mean whatever the command arguments are there, you need only that. And you can see that the first parameter is node.exe, the second parameter is the file that we executed. And then we also talked about how to get the argument. So if say for example if I calculate sum of elements which are passed in the arguments, I just say return args dot reduce, and then tell me
Accumulator and
uh,
current value.
accumulator in the bracket, both of them in the bracket. Okay, accumulator and then current,
Yeah.
accumulator plus current. Okay, and then return keyword is not right, I'm gonna fix that. And then there should be three dots, I'm gonna fix that.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, we are not using arrow function, we just use this
Yeah.
function. If you want to use arrow function, then you can go ahead and then do that as well. Okay,
Yeah.
anyways
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
function.
Noted.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
the next thing that I want to do is so if you want to use sum along with these arguments, so what you're going to miss, so you have to skip the first two, right? So if I want to say, if I want to get node index.js and then 2 comma 3, if I want to add this 2 3 4,
Hmm.
then I cannot simply do use arguments dot reduce, because it's in the first two index it is giving these two values, I cannot sum them, right? So what I should do, I should just skip first two and then say argv and then fix this. So now I'm getting this arguments, and then I'm skipping first two, and then I'm only taking the third things. How I'm taking third thing? By spreading the third things.
Okay.
So now I've got all those argv things. Okay, but we also know that each parameter which comes in this array is string.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna say %.
Percent. Yeah.
I'm gonna say %, and then same thing I'll say it for current also. Okay, so if I run this sum now, okay, I don't okay, if I just say sum 2 comma 3 comma 4, what am I getting? I'm getting argv dot reduce of empty array with no arguments. Okay, so one sec. Let me use this here. Okay, and then I'll just print argv, comment this, so that I'm sure about what I'm printing. Okay, args is not a function. Okay, because I'm gonna say process.argv here.
Hmm. Okay.
Okay, now you can see 2 3 4 are coming up.
Yes.
Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to assign this function and then run that function. Okay, so args I'm passing here, and then args I'm using here. Okay, and then I'm gonna pass that args here.
Okay.
So and then once I do that, I'll also do console.log for that.
Hmm.
So what did I miss? Okay, sorry, this.
Parentheses.
Okay. So what happened? I print okay, I print args here, and then this happened. I'm passing arguments, and then those arguments are being reduced, but they're not getting added. Why is the reason? Okay, let's go ahead and then see that. Let's see what am I getting as part of args. Correct.
Hmm.
So what I'm getting array of array.
Okay.
Okay, I'm getting array of array because args is already an array here, and I'm getting array of array. So let me say instead of saying this, I'll just say 0. Okay, I'll just say 0 here itself. Okay, this will give you only 2. That's bad. Let's say 0 here. Okay, so now we are good. So how many ever I pass, I'll get in there. Got it?
Okay.
I can calculate first 10 numbers or whatsoever.
Okay.
So the sum of first 10 numbers is 55. Got it? So that's how you
Hmm.
read the command line arguments. I think that was somewhere in the down, but we did that anyways. Okay. So the next thing that we are not going to talk about is fs parameter. So I think before that, I think we already talked about the file name.
Hmm.
Okay, and then we talked about
Directory.
directory name. Okay? So let's just go ahead and then print that. Sorry, you can see both file name and then directory name got printed. And then we also learned about how to use
Only.
path.
With. Hmm.
Where path, and then let's say console.log path dot, what was it, base name,
Hmm.
and then you say directory
File name.
or directory.
Okay. Yes.
This time if I run that, so base name is not defined. So let's see. Okay, you can see it now. Path was supposed to be, you were supposed to import it as an entire file rather than path as a particular object element. Okay,
Okay.
so you saw both file name and directory name, all right. Okay, so that
Okay.
that was about file name, directory name, and then using path. Okay,
Okay.
and the next thing that you need is file system, so that we will do it when we are doing read write and read write of files and directories. Okay, the next
Okay.
thing that we talked about, set timeout, set interval, and clear interval. So for
Yes.
that I'm just gonna do a quick what do you say, uh,
Recap.
recap. So set timeout, I think we already talked about this, that whatever you execute inside this, assume it as a timeout event, which means once the time is up, you're gonna print that.
Okay.
Right, so I say after first second, you say code multiverse gets printed, and then you
Okay.
see that after waiting for 1 second, code multiverse gets printed. And how many
Yes.
times did it print? It
One.
prints only once. So after timeout period, the code within the block executes exactly once.
One.
Okay, the next thing that we have is set interval. Okay, so now let's say same thing again. Okay, so in the set interval, after the timeout period, comma, code within the block executes
Every time.
infinite times or every time.
Hmm. After that
Okay,
specific
yeah,
time.
executes at
Time.
given interval.
Yeah, given interval.
Okay, after the timeout period or after the given interval, the code within the block executes each time or every time, whatever you say. Okay, so
Hmm.
it keeps repeating for a number of times. So if I just go ahead and then say this, you can see first code multiverse was because of the first thing, and then
Yeah,
this code multiverse that you are getting is all because of your set interval.
set
So let's
interval.
just gonna let me make it a little more clear. I'll say hi Shreya. Okay, and then
Hmm.
I'll say welcome to code multiverse. Okay? You will see that hi Shreya will come up, and then welcome to code multiverse keeps coming up. Okay,
Yeah.
because we don't want to let you go.
Okay.
So then I'm just stopping, forcefully stopping this. So the third thing is, because it keeps running n number of times, you need a way to clear this
Hmm.
function. Okay, so that's what I'm going to call it. This is called as clear function. So what I'm saying, I'm assigning the set interval to a variable. Okay,
Okay.
it can be any name. So and then you use clear interval function in order to stop processing this. Okay,
Okay.
so what I'm doing right now, so I'm just running set timeout and then immediately clearing this. So without making sure that it stopped after 1 second or not, I'm immediately clearing it. So how do I make sure that this gets printed exactly a number of times? So I'll just go ahead and then do a one more set timeout, and I'll say after 3 seconds call this clear interval.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
So I know that my set interval runs exactly 3 times. Okay, because it is running at the interval of 1 second and I'm running it for 3 seconds, right? And after that I'm clearing it. Okay, one, two, three,
Three.
stop. Okay,
Oh,
so it started at one. Okay, and then it went to two. But the moment it reached three, it actually cleared it without even printing it because this got called first.
okay.
Okay? So I'm gonna just say clear. So that was about brief recap of set timeout, set interval, and clear interval. And the next thing that we learned about was promises. I think promises we already know. We talked about it in during our final JS class, and then we also talked about asyncs that time. So the last thing that we're going to talk about is callbacks here. So callbacks is nothing but a function passing another function as an argument. Okay, your first thing might be your parameters, but the second thing is a second parameter is a function that you're gonna do it call it as callback. So if I say return, okay, I'll just say add numbers. That is your thing, and then I'm just gonna pass spread the arguments here. Okay, so if I say add numbers and then say 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5, it's supposed to add that. Okay, so and then it'll do what? It will say return args dot reduce. I know I'm using the same example all the time. Okay, accumulator dot current. Okay, so I'm
Okay.
just adding two numbers and then doing what? I'm returning it.
Okay.
Right? But what will I do? Instead of returning it here, I'll just say func name, okay, and then
Okay.
return this thing there. Okay, this is more like this.
Okay.
Okay, you're calling, you're returning with your callback function. Generally what happens is, if it is succeeded, right, you will do a try catch. If it is succeeded, then you will return, otherwise you won't return. You will call one more method which will be like error method, error function. So we'll pass two things, one is success function and then error function. Okay, both are callbacks.
Okay.
Getting it? Both are callbacks. So now let's go ahead and then do the first one. Okay, function success, let's call it as, okay, let me call it as function success. Okay, and then let me just go ahead and then do function success is equal to what? Function success will take whatever argument it is getting and then do console dot log.
Okay.
So if I just go ahead and then run it, what is happening? mm, Rest parameter must be the last parameter. Okay, sorry. Okay, so because if you are using rest, right, it has to be in the last. Okay,
Oh,
so I
okay.
cannot just use args here. Okay, I'll just take args as it is here. So if I do that, I'll just get only one number. Okay, how do I do it? Let me pass it as a array only. Okay, here, not here, here. Let me pass it as array.
But then we can specify after function if we have to.
Yeah, I could do that, but generally, you we have parameters coming in first and then followed by success and error. So I just want to follow the same approach.
Okay.
So I'm just passing function success here as parameter to this. I'm just gonna clear it, run it, and you'll see that it printed 14. Where is my console.log? It is there in the function success. Okay,
Okay.
so let me just go ahead and then do a function failure,
Okay.
and then I'll say and it will print me message why it failed. Okay, this is a result, and then this is a message. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do, just gonna say if not argument not length, which means if I'm not passing any arguments, then I'll say what, throw
Error.
no arguments error.
Okay.
Okay, otherwise do what, return function success.
Hmm.
Okay, and then I'm gonna put them in try catch. If this is this, then it is returning this. Otherwise I'll return what, I'll return function
Er-
failure with the error that I'm catching.
Okay.
Getting it?
Okay.
So what am I doing here in the end? I'm passing add numbers with 2, 3, 4, 5 for function success. So if I run it, I'll just go ahead and then pass the function failure also.
Yeah. Hmm.
Function failure.
Okay.
Okay. So and then same thing goes here also. Okay. Assume that it'll go here also. This is how you generally pass it: function success, function failure. Okay.
Okay.
So now what I'm getting 14. But assume that I'm passing this. What happened? I'm getting no arguments error.
Okay.
Okay, because if you assume if I remove the first one, then you'll see it better, right?
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
arguments, right?
Okay.
So you will do both. So you have a callback for success and you also have a callback for failure.
Failure.
Okay,
Hmm.
again they are regular functions. I know this is very simple example of how it is done, but going forward you may not be finding it so easy. Okay,
Right.
because what happens is, again this callback might have another callback here.
Okay.
Okay, and then that callback might have another callback. So that's why node.js is a lot of people face a problem called as callback hell. Okay, okay,
Okay.
I just want you to learn about so here I'm just writing it, what is callback hell. Okay, go ahead and then read about this, and then we will discuss about that in tomorrow's class. Fine.
Okay.
So we're done with path, directory, this thing, set timeout, set interval, clear interval, promises we already discussed in our last JavaScript session. Async and callbacks is done. What is callback hell is something that you're gonna learn and then come back and then we'll talk about it. And then we already did of how to import modules and then how to export modules and import modules in ES5 and also ES6. Correct? So that's when you create your own function and then export them. Correct?
Hmm.
uh, when you create, say for example you have add function or multiplication function, you created them in operator.js file and then you later exported them and you imported them and then you worked on them, right? You remember that example?
Yes. Yes.
Right, so that's about how you create your own modules and then export import. Then what is third party modules? Something like nodemon, firebase, react,
Okay.
whatever they are, right? If you want to install them, what you do, you say npm install or yarn add, right? We just learned
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
Those are
Yeah.
third party node modules which are available in npm package manager or yarn repository, right?
Okay.
So that's that are, they are nothing but third party node modules. Okay, done. So writing to
We
console.
cannot export them. We can just import them.
Yes, because they have already exported them,
Yeah.
right? They have already exported them, that's why you are able to import them directly. Okay.
Right.
Well, you can write your own module and then you can actually publish on npm. So that's something that we can learn later.
Okay.
Right, you when I was giving example, I could show you that I had published a logger uh,
Yes.
library, right? And you could actually download that using npm, and then you can use it, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. Okay, we'll learn about that, how to do that. We'll just learn in another class. Okay,
Okay.
so the next thing that I want to talk about is nodemon, and then we'll come back to writing, reading, and then doing exit process. Okay,
Okay.
so for that, what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and then uh, do npm init here, so that I'm having a project, right?
Okay.
So I'm doing npm init, and then I'll just say node.js tutorial. So that's my first thing, and as I said, use small letter as much as possible. Let's say this is 0.0.1, and then I'm just going to leave everything empty.
Okay.
So if I just come back here, I can see that package.json is here.
Yes.
So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna say, you please do start command. Okay. So the moment I say start, do what? Run node index.js file.
Okay.
Okay. So if I just come back, what do I have here? I have this add numbers working, right? So if I say node index, it runs same thing. Or if I say npm run start, it'll run same thing.
Okay.
Okay. Behind the scene, it is running the command that I gave here. Okay, so what did happen, like what just happened is that I ran npm run start. Okay, and then it internally ran node index.js, and then that gave me an error or whatsoever result which was expected,
Yeah.
and it stopped. Okay,
Okay.
like if I want to make changes to this continuously, and then I want to keep executing that as it goes, so that's when you use a library called as nodemon. Okay,
Okay.
nodemon is a library which detects the changes in your code continuously, and then it keeps building it. Okay,
Okay.
so how do you install it? Go ahead and then do npm install. Either you can install it locally for this project just by saying npm install nodemon, or you can provide global flag, and then you can install it across your machine.
Okay.
Okay, I'm just going
If
to
we
go ahead and
don't give global flag, it will be installed within that
within
particular
this
directory.
yeah, within this package.json, that's all. Okay, you will see
Okay.
it under this dependencies here, right? You
Okay.
can see nodemon here now. So what I'm gonna, how will I use it? I'll just say instead of node, instead of so node, I'll just say nodemon, that's all.
Okay.
Okay, now if I run npm run start, let's see what happens. It exited. Okay, but it also waiting for the next set of things to restart. Okay, so the moment I uncomment and then comment this, what happened?
Okay. It
It
is
gave me
about
the
to.
answer, and then again, right? So nodemon lets you run the things continuously, and then it detects the changes in your node files, and then it builds them immediately and produces a result. That's why you
Okay.
need nodemon. Okay,
Okay.
so that's about your nodemon library. And then next thing that we are going to learn about is how to write to console and how to read from console. Okay,
Okay.
and then how to exit the process. So for to exit the process, I think let's just go ahead and then look at the process thing itself here. Okay, and you can see there are multiple things here. Okay, you will say that there are different process events here. So one
Okay.
process event is how do you do something before exit. If you want to do some operation before exit, you use before exit key. If you want to do it on exit, you use exit key. Okay, and then there might be rejection which are happening, or there might be uncaught exceptions which are coming from your code. You can use these different things. Okay, and then you can abort things. Okay, you can use process.argv, which we just did, and then let's go ahead and then do argv 0, and let's see what that prints up. Process
First argument.
dot argv 0. Okay, see what is it giving.
Linux.
Sorry,
It is not giving anything.
let's do it this way. I think let's say in node index.js. Now what do you see? Zeroth index, that's all.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, that's all. Okay, nothing fancy about that. Now
Yeah.
going forward, you also have change working directory. We don't need that at the moment. Execute augments, PID platform, we don't need them as well. So what we're looking at is writing and reading. So which is comes in standard out.
Okay.
Okay, we get them in standard in and standard out. So for that we'll just go ahead and then look at this. Okay, and then for that also you have different commands. So you can see that standard in dot pipe, you can see directly standard out. Okay, so just we just keep going through different things here. So let's just go ahead and then say process dot standard out dot, and then you can see there are a lot of things happening here.
Okay.
I'll just say write. Okay, where is write? Go down, write is here, and then whatever I give here will get printed in the. Can you see it?
True.
Okay, it printed true because I'm doing console.log on top of that. Both mean same thing, right? Console.log is also printing something to the end, and then
Right.
your process.standard.write will also do the same thing.
Okay.
Okay, and then similarly you can say read. Okay, the moment you say read, it is actually trying to read an input from your command line.
Okay.
Okay, so again you'll I'm getting some error here. Let's go ahead and then see what is for read, and then size number read one. Let's see, I'm just a little confused with read. Okay, it's been some time. Unhandled error event. Oh, one sec, let me just see. Process dot standard in. Okay, oh sorry, this is standard in, my bad.
Okay.
Because when you're reading it is input.
Okay.
Okay, it's not output, so I'm saying this. Okay, so I just added something. Let me just go ahead and then do either write and then print that again, right? So I'll say you typed, and then let's say $C.
Okay.
Let's say write something.
Okay.
Okay, what just happened? Write something, you type null. Okay, that's because yeah, initially C has nothing. So let me just go ahead and then do this, and okay, it's not printing anything because they are getting executed immediately. Like this happens and then immediately this is happening. Okay,
Okay.
we do not have async and await yet. Remember,
Okay.
it's supposed to
Yeah.
wait for this.
Yes.
Okay, but it's going ahead and then it's printing this.
Okay.
Got it? So go ahead and then see if you can modify this and then wait here. Maybe make this as async function. Call it inside a async function, and then this line should be waited, and then you print this. Getting my point? Go ahead and
Yes.
then try that example. Okay. I think
Okay.
now you programmatically know how where you want to stop things and then where you want to continue. Right? This is a good example you can actually try and practice. So
Okay.
that's about reading and writing to console, and then exiting process is just you can just say process dot on, and then you'll say these keywords on exit. What you will do? Okay, you can have a function here. Okay, so
Okay.
which will run something. Say for example, you'll just run saying that process exited, something like this. You can simply run something. That's all. It doesn't have to be anything here. So on exit, what you're doing? Okay, so for example, I'll just go ahead and then run this again. What happened? The moment I exited, this line got printed.
Okay. But then your second parameter is function. So it will call back that function and
Yes, exactly. That this is a callback function. No, that's the you. That's what I have been telling you. So going forward, you'll just learn about callbacks.
okay.
Okay, instead of yeah, you can either have that in here. So you can assign it exit func, and then you can say function this blah blah blah, and then call exit function here. Exactly same thing.
Okay.
I'll comment this also. I'll comment this also. Right? What is happening? I'm directly calling this now because it's executed as function. It's directly getting called.
Okay.
Okay, but in order to call it on demand, so that's why I had just put it here. Now it is getting called directly. Okay, it should be something like this, no? Okay, now again, sorry, I think I'm missing something here. This worked all good. I think I'll just need to see how you can name them and then call that later. I'll just find that example and give you.
Okay.
Currently, we know that the moment. Okay, what happened? Oh, okay. Sorry. The thing was we were waiting for example there. We were reading something there. Then I exited. That is when it got printed.
Okay.
Okay, but here I did not do anything. In previous example, I was not waiting there. I was immediately running with instructions one on the other.
Right. Right.
There was nothing to execute more. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, and then going back, I think exit is done. So we'll go ahead and then learn about reading files, directories, and writing files. But I would be happy if you just go ahead and then read about that. Okay, and or we'll just go ahead and then do it as part of next things that we are gonna do, which is Express related stuff. Okay, we'll do that. So popular frameworks that you have for Node.js is I know you have a lot of them. So Express is the most talked about framework.
Okay.
Popular frameworks for Node, let's say Express is the most talked one, and then you also have something called as Happy HAPI. Okay, Happy.js. This one. This is also one of the one of the frameworks that you can use in backend. So the most talked about one is Express. So that's what we'll go ahead and then start using. Okay,
Okay.
going forward. So I think that's it for today. I'm gonna stop recording. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Click on bell icon to get notification for new videos on your favorite channel, Code Multiverse.